This tire is about 3 months old, plenty of tread. So this is the live well. There's 2 areas that you could release water at, and down here. This is the dual prop, so it grips the water pretty well. These are the trim tabs, the Bennett trim tabs, and that is the bilge pump that pumps fresh water into the live well. And here's the gas cap. This right here, you would need to either replace the carpeting or I guess staple it in, but this is the only part that's ripped because that's the side that we get onto mostly. So these are the seats. You just lift it up. There's a lot of pine needles in here now. But this is where the battery goes in. There's one battery, and then there's a switch in there for the dual batteries. There's a washdown pump right here, or hose, and then you drain your seat cocks. And then this side, same thing, with the seat, and then another battery in there with the seat cocks down there. And areas to store stuff. Pliers. So you could put your rods here, and then you could use this as a storage locker. So it's pretty big, pretty deep. It's got a divider. And then on both sides there's a rod holder like this, and then this is the Canon swivel for the downrigger. And you can store your rods here. And then these are the seats. I haven't cleaned this area yet. It's pretty dusty, pretty dirty, but I'm gonna get that clean. So here's your instruments. You got your bilge, your nav, horn, the blower, the wiper, right there. This part right here is where I told you it cracked, and the thread actually broke, so you will need to replace this isinglass and re-sew it back in. But otherwise, there's buttons right here. You could take this off and then hook it up to the top right here, so it has an open window. And then the isinglass on the sides are good. Yes, this pine tree. Here's the throttle. And there's a fire extinguisher down here and areas to put stuff in on the side. Same thing. There's a storage area, and there's a water tank right there that you could use for the hooked up to the sink, but I've never used it. And more areas right here to put things in. This is where I have the fish finder, the GPS, and the radar set up, so when you're on the go. And this right here opens up, and here's the bedroom area. All the cushions are still good. There's a paddle, and there's a window right there that you could open. And here's your sink down here. Get closer. There we go. And here's the stove I was telling you about, which I wouldn't use. And then there's extra storage area. This is where the porta potty goes. If you lift this up, you gotta get this clean. But there's the other part of the curtains down here too. There you go. So it's just extra storage everywhere. Storage down here. And there's storage right here where you put stuff in. This is the part that I was talking about that has the battery. So we have a battery set up and the wires hooked up in the back here for the lights. And there's a little cubby area to put stuff in. This right here is where all your fuses and stuff go. There you go. And there's a light right here. There's a Fruno wiring, so all the wiring to the fish finder and the radar is right up here. So it's nicely strapped to the top of the inside compartment. So close this up. Alright, there's a little cigarette lighter or power thing right there. And then there's your Bennett trim tabs right here, right next to the steering. So you can control it pretty easily. There's an aerator right here button. That's for the back transom live well, but I wouldn't use that. Just use it as a fish locker. And then right here is the storage, and we have the radio set up right here. And then here's your switch for the light. And here's the hardtop. And there's more rocket launchers up there to put your fishing poles. And there's a light. I would switch that to LED so it doesn't use up gas. This is the antenna. And then there's a light right there. Here's a Scotty rod holder. And then this area right here, put your anchor, and then you can put your anchor rope in here in this little locker here, which lifts up. There you go. Got your lights right here on both sides, your nav lights. This is the area that I'm talking about that the anchor caught. It just took off the top layer. So it's not too bad. It's just this one area right here all you need to do is put some gel on there. There you go. So that's the area that chipped off. Windshield. And then here's your GPS antenna. And here's the Furuno with the tower set up. This is your antenna. And there's your light. And these just pull up and you tighten it up. And here's the hardtop. So these curtains, there's a rail right here and it snaps into the rail and then it snaps down. So that's how the curtains stay on. There's another rod holder right here on the side here, the white one. And then there's your other rod holder. I'm gonna go back around the other side. So I'm gonna show you the engine. All you do is just lift these seats up. And there's two hooks on each side right here. And it snaps down so it holds it down. I got this side snapped down, so you just pull it. And then here's the engine. So it's a Volvo Penta 5.7 GSI. It's fuel injected. And then this is the alternator that would charge up your batteries. This is the part that I'm telling you that you can fix. It's just a piece of plastic, so you probably want to replace that and seal it in good. And this is the hardtop, or not the hardtop, but the cover, and the whole thing comes off. So this is the riser. Okay, so it's not the top part that chipped, it's the actual manifold that chipped right here in the corner. So that's where the water's coming through. So you can see that chipped right there in the corner. So that would need to be replaced. There you go. And here's the other one. This one's okay. And then these are your fuses to your fuel pump right here. And here's the new fuel pump that we replaced. Right here, this is the Raycor, the fuel filter, to get your, if there's any water or moisture in the fuel. This is the switch to switch from your kicker to your main engine, and it'll point to whichever one it is. And then this is your primer right here to prime the kicker. So as you can see, these are new gaskets from 3 months ago. So it's still nice and green.